Greetings and good Friday morning, the 19th of August, 2022, third decade, 21st century. So, this is the geekier part of my channel where I like to geek and nerd out about stuff, whether it's movies, television series, anything else for that matter. Um, in doing so, I have no less than at least one individual who has had the kindness and courtesy to respond to my channel and provide feedback for me to read, respond, and react to. So without further ado, one Stace Catalan has responded. So I don't know when I'm going to be able to get to Supernatural with the Game of Thrones prequel starting on Sunday. Okay. Yeah, we don't have HBO Max right now. I don't know if we're going to get it between now and Sunday, but we don't have it right now. But yeah, I mean, it's got dragons. Who wouldn't want to watch dragons again, right? I'm very curious about this though, Stace. Up until either the second or third episode of the final season of Game of Thrones, after Arya kills the Night King, did you like the rest of the final season and how it ended? I'd love to get your thoughts on that. There are several actors that are beginning podcasts in regards to reviewing their shows. Yes, you have Tom and Michael with Smallville. There's also Rob and Richard with Supernatural. There is Sophia Bush, Hillary Burton Morgan, and Bethany Joy Lenz with One Tree Hill, and even Danielle Fisher, Ryder Strong, and Will Friedle with Boy Meets World. I'm sure there is more. And actually, yes, there is more. Turns out Kim Coates and oh god, Theo Rossi were doing a rewatch of Sons of Anarchy. And believe it or not, I wasn't trying to imitate what anybody else was doing. I think the first person I heard say it might have been Rob and Rich, but really all I wanted to do was sort of recap each season of something I was interested in, but perhaps I'm just too far behind the power curve. I actually started out as a One Tree Hill fan. For me, I can often get involved in a story. It doesn't have to be super machismo, action, kill. One Tree Hill had a good hook. Not only that, but at the time I had orders to North Carolina, and One Tree Hill was filmed in Wilmington, which is just an hour south of where I live. So you add those two things together, I was terribly interested in One Tree Hill. And I was still young enough where it wasn't so hard for me to remember high school. Not to mention all the actors portraying the characters were basically the same age as me. So it was also kind of fun at that point in my life to watch people of basically my age pretend to be 10 years younger. But I digress. I did actually watch One Tree Hill. I feel like the first four seasons were good. What I liked about it was the first two seasons was one school year. The second two seasons was another school year. So you had first and second season was junior year, and third and fourth season was senior year. And then fifth season, I think, is where they came back. Excuse me. Uh, like 4 years later, like after college. It wasn't bad, but during the fifth season, I think is where the writing took a horrific turn. Excuse me. Almost like the showrunners ran out of ideas. And that's when my wife and I were kind of like, give me 1 second here. My throat is sorry about that. So yeah, we stopped somewhere around season 5. I think we finished season 5 and that was it for us. So Stace, I'm kind of curious if you picked up with it. My wife and I just got done rewatching Gilmore Girls. Now, I think I used to watch it off and on, kind of like background noise, like when I would get home from work or something like that. I don't think I actually watched it with any kind of serious intent. Like, same thing with CSI. Unlike Smallville and Supernatural and a few other shows that I watched with significant intent, um, so this time, I know at some point in time, maybe around season 6, is when my wife and I had kind of committed to like, okay, we're interested, we're gonna watch this. We rewatched it, and then we went right into the year in a life, a year in the life of on Netflix. I missed the show. Um, no, I can't identify with the rich. So the rich aspect of the show with the grandparents and whatnot, I can't identify with. I really even can't identify with Luke on the level of he owns this, he owns that. But to some degree, I can identify with being stuck in your ways, so on and so forth. But I feel like it was just good. It was just a good story, and like Lauren Graham she's hot. Um, and then it was so cool meeting Sean Gunn and Scott Patterson at the con. Supernatural, if your heart's not in it, if you're at a point where the story's going in a different direction, so if you've watched all the way from season 1 up until 13, and I apologize, I don't remember. Have you seen 13 or did you stop at 12? I'd be interested to know because uh, Supernatural, as somebody who watched it consistently ever since the pilot, um, I don't want to say it has some violent turns, but if you're not overly familiar, Eric Kripke had 5 seasons worth of material. At least he had 5 seasons worth of ideas that he wanted to accomplish. I don't know if he made any modifications because I think in the original Inception, they didn't want to necessarily dive into the whole heaven and hell aspect with the angels and whatnot and push the boundaries with religion, which they eventually did. Um, I'm trying to remember the timelines because I don't want to spoil anything, but Supernatural over 15 seasons did have some twists and turns. And I don't know if I don't remember if they were like, sharp and contrasting, but um, I can't remember if you're at the point where Jack is already born or if he's not with us yet. Um, it's funny, Alexander Calvert. Um, he was only on the show for a short period of time, but his character was pivotal. Uh, but getting back on track, if your heart's not in it, that's something I understand. Um, I remember Jared on Gilmore Girls. I really identified with his character probably more than anything on Gilmore Girls. And of course, I followed him over to Supernatural, and obviously it was a different character. But over 15 seasons, I got used to Jared as Sam. Now that doesn't mean I'm not open to the concept and I can't do the math and oh well, he's an actor, he has to play other parts. I mean, I've seen his other movies. Um, I've said this a few times in the past on different videos I've made, and Stace, I don't know if you're in the same mindset or if you've even attempted to watch it, but he's he started a new show, Walker. He had already put it in the works. So the moment he and Jensen and Misha basically declared that they were going to end at season 15, uh, either somebody approached him or he approached somebody else and put Walker in the works. Now, many of us, based on our own age, remember Walker as something with Chuck Norris, doing the Chuck Norris thing. Now, I never once anticipated Jared doing the Chuck Norris thing, but I thought that in the same vein, in the same context, utilizing that same character, that they were going to do something different. Like maybe Jared had more of an MMA background or more of a scrappy street fighter boxing, dirty boxing style. That the best way I can put it is this: I was anticipating, just like with the Chuck Norris, that if Jared's character kicked in the door, the bad guys would be like, "Oh shit, it's Walker." Now, and we didn't finish season 2, but basically the way that Jared's character is being portrayed is he opens the door and it's like, "Oh, what's up, Cordell?" He's and they've almost got him portraying it as kind of like what's the word I'm looking for? In some aspects, like he's not even the main character of the show. That he's kind of hapless. He's kind of gumpy and goofy. And I don't know if that's more to do with Jared's real personality. It wasn't what I was anticipating. And both my wife and I are kind of like, eh. And it's one of those where like they're trying to take an existing franchise name, capitalize on the name, but tell a completely different story. And maybe I'm just one of those individuals like, well, if you're going to take this franchise, then you have to do it right. Uh, I guess the best example I can give you, Stace, um, I stumbled onto Firefly backwards. I was a fan of Nathan Fillion from Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place. So I finally got an opportunity after a patrol one night in Ramadi, and I watched Serenity. And I just watched Serenity as a standalone movie, and I thought it was pretty cool. And the person I borrowed the movie off of had the copy that had the special features. So I started watching the special features, and that's when I found out that Serenity was based on a failed TV show, and I was like, "Holy crap!" A couple years later, I would find myself in Columbus, Ohio, walking by the bargain bin back when Best Buy still sold DVDs and whatnot, and lo and behold, there was Firefly. So I bought it like for a steal. Took it home and then eventually watched it with my wife, and we fell in love. I say all that to say this: there's been talk on and off. I'm on a few pages. There's been talk of rebooting Firefly, whether with or without the original cast. Maybe a new cast going in a different direction. Same verse, same same themes, but a different ship, a different crew, a different story. And I'll be honest, for my money, Firefly is the crew. Firefly is Nathan Fillion, Alan Tudyk, Gina Torres, Jewel State, Morena Baccarin, Adam Baldwin, Summer Glau, Sean Marr, and God rest his soul, Ron Glass. All right, that was my Firefly. So I don't know if I could equally get interested in trying to take the name and the franchise and go in a different direction. Um, and I'm often curious. Uh, Rewatched Buffy, enjoyed Buffy. Rewatched Angel, always loved Angel. I don't know if those franchises could be redone today. I don't know. I don't know. So I guess I'm kind of rambling on here. If your heart's not in Supernatural, I get it. Based on the way Game of Thrones ended, I'm very curious to see um, if they can avoid making any mistakes. So my understanding is Game of Thrones is based on a book series by George Martin, and he had only written so many books, and each season was a book. And it got to the point where the show was so popular that the seasons had then outpaced the books. And if I don't know if that had anything to do with the way it ended. My wife and I are not alone. I don't know if you feel the same way, but the way that the show ended, so I think it was season 7 was the final season. We had to wait a year. We had to wait over a year for season 7. And when it came, in preparation, I'm not trying to spoil anything for anybody, just heads up. I want to say the first 2, maybe 3 episodes were killer. Just phenomenal. That scene with Arya killing the Night King. I mean, that was like, ah! I mean, the show could have ended right there. But they still had like 4 or 5 more episodes to go. And it just kind of, it just, it just, ugh. I don't know how else to put it. So I don't know if George Martin, I hope I got that right, is involved in the prequel, or if HBO owns the rights and they're just like, fuck it, we're gonna do our own thing. I don't know. I'd be curious about that. Um, I don't know if you and I are interested in some of the same things, but like, I got into Sleepy Hollow, watched it from the beginning. Got into Grimm, watched it from the beginning. So I don't know if you're like into that sort of thing, and I don't know if you're looking forward to the Winchesters or if you're kind of going into that with hesitation and trepidation. But I'm going to keep this short. I think I've probably said enough. Stace, I look forward to your comments, and anybody else who does watch this. Uh, don't care if you like, don't care if you subscribe, don't care if you hit the notification bell. I'm I'm always happy to solicit comments and completely nerd and geek out about stuff like this. So if you do get involved, I appreciate it. You're awesome. Till next time.